Now overall there are a lot of gold farms that I love to do, but some are transmog farms. So today I'm going to be going over the Ulduman gold farm. Let us begin. Okay, so today we'll be going over the Ulduman gold farm. I love this gold farm. It is really simple in order to do. All you have to do is basically nuke everything inside. What we'll be wanting to do is pull up the Worth It recorder so we can actually record all of the items that we actually farm and thus gather up all of the mobs in the vicinity of the area. Typically I like to avoid some areas and I like to batch some of these mobs as I do tend to lose aggro. There is a little bit towards all of this and I do this in batch packs and then burn them down. This isn't too much of a problem though, as Ulduman does have a wide variety of transmog items that you can actually get and sell on the auction house. Overall I find this to be quite good in order to actually pad out your auction house, especially if you're getting started with gold farming in general, and thus if you are wanting to start off with transmog selling, then I would highly recommend this gold farm above most of the others in the vicinity of the area. Just be prepared that you may be spending quite a decent chunk of time if you're going for the high ticket items overall. Now Ulduman is notorious for dropping some amazing transmog items. I generally love this, so if we take a look with inside Worth It, the transmog items from Ulduman, wide variety is quite high, and the items of note are definitely the Pendulum of Doom, which is currently going for around about 2.6 million gold if you can get it to drop, as well as the Energy Cloak, which isn't worth a great deal. The Miner's Hat of the Deep, however, that hasn't been reported to drop in such a long time. The Papal Fez for 800,000 gold, that's pretty dang good. The Spire Wind Fetter, which is okay, it's a chess piece, but not overly worth that much. The Spolders of the Lost Age are very hard in order to get a hold of. You also have the Leg Guards of the Vault, the Monolithic Bow, the Stone Vault Shiv, which I've gotten so many times it is insane, the Shadowforge Bushmaster, the Beacon of Hope, the Digmaster 5000, the Excavator's Brand, Stone Vault Bonebreaker, the Annealed Blade, the Jinsu Sword, which is one of the best items to get a hold of and it sells for a decent chunk of gold. Currently for me it's around about 248,000 gold. The Obsidian Cleaver, the Jackhammer, which to be honest you're not going to get, and the Shoveler, as well as the Earthen Rod. A lot of these items do tend to sell for a great deal of gold, and overall I find that the Pendulum of Doom is your best one to get a hold of even today. Now batch packing this dungeon is quite easy. All you have to do is gather up all of the mobs and burn them down. You can always gather up everything in the dungeon, but however I would actually recommend just gathering up a load of the trash mob and in a linear shape fashion instead of trying to gather up everything, as this will cause you to take more time for farming, and thus I prefer to just gather up the dwarves and the trogs which are in the dungeon itself on the way to the last boss, and I basically bolt it towards the last boss to burn down all of the mobs, and I kill them on my way there, as it takes me far less time in order to get the most amount of mobs killed in the least amount of time, and therefore makes my farming session much more worth it whenever I'm actually farming this dungeon. Overall, Ulduman is one of the greatest gold farms for transmog, and it is notorious for its high value items as they are so low it is insane due to the scaling issues back in Cataclysm, where a lot of items haven't not been dropping since then. However, I do expect some of this will change in the future, and therefore I am always in hope of getting a hold of some of these high-end items even today. But thus the best one I've ever gotten is the Pendulum of Doom, which obviously I have stated, which is around about 2.6 million gold, and I remember getting this one back in Legion and selling it for around about 3 million if I remember correctly. Other than that, that is a really good drop to get a hold of, but this will take you some time, so don't think that you're going to be getting it on your first run unless you're incredibly lucky. Other than that, there are some altars of the keepers which you will need to actually press in order to start off encounters in order to speed run this. This does slow it down a little bit, but you do need to get to the last boss, which is 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐭, and once defeating him, he has a chest on the back behind him which has a chance of dropping some of these high value recipes as well as some high value transmog as well as all of that. It's really not that hard to do. Obviously I've been very lenient with my time in farming this actual dungeon, and therefore I do tend to find that if I do actually try, I can do my 10 runs within around about 45 minutes of actual farming. This is in conjunction with using my Dreamwalk ability as a druid, and then going in and out of the instance, resetting the instance as and when I see fit. Other than that, guys, if you have not already heard, I have released my game on Steam. This is a game that I've been working on for around about 3 years. It literally is going for a cup of coffee because it's a passion project, so therefore I would love you guys to check it out, play the game, enjoy it, and tell me what you think moving forward. Other than that, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.